Hello, I'm Sarah and this is my Tunisian stitches collection. Today I'm showing you the Tunisian Honeycomb Stitch. The Tunisian Honeycomb Stitch is a combination of two stitches, the Tunisian Simple Stitch and the Tunisian Purl Stitch. I have created video tutorials for both stitches and you can find them in my YouTube channel, or I will leave links of both stitches on the top right hand side of this video if you want to click on it. The Tunisian Honeycomb Stitch can be worked starting from a chain in any number of stitches. Here I have chained my foundation row of 8 stitches, and I'll start right away showing you the pattern, the stitch pattern. So as I mentioned before, the honeycomb stitch is a combination of 2 stitches. That is to say, I will alternate between Tunisian Simple Stitch and Tunisian Purl Stitch. So this means I will begin by crocheting a simple stitch in the first stitch. That is to say, I am going to insert the hook under the first vertical bar, this one and not this one, yarn over and pull up a loop. I will work into the next stitch purlwise. That is to say, I will take the yarn to the back of the work, in a way yarning over from bottom to top, this way. I then insert the hook under the next vertical bar. I yarn over in the regular way, like this, pull through and up on the hook. So simple stitch, purl stitch. Now I need to do a simple stitch again in the following stitch. There you go. And now I need to do a purl stitch. So again, I bring the yarn in front and then I position it on the hook because it is easier for me and for many people to create the purl stitch like this. So I insert the hook under the vertical bar. Now I need to yarn over, and in order to do so I need to bring the yarn back down and then bring it around the hook in order to be able to yarn over, pull through and bring the loop on the hook. So purl stitch, simple stitch again, purl stitch. Now I've reached the end of the forward pass, and I will do a so-called neat closing stitch in my edge stitch, like this, and proceed with a standard return pass by yarning over and pulling through one loop only once, then yarn over again and pull through 2 loops together from beginning to end of row. And this was row 2 if we consider the foundation row as row 1. We will work in row 3 in the same way, but we'll keep on alternating the simple stitch and the purl stitch, but we will work a purl stitch on the simple stitch of previous row below, and vice versa. We will work a simple stitch on the purl stitches of previous row. So this means, since I began the previous row with a simple stitch, I will crochet a purl stitch on it. So this means I will start with a purl stitch. So this is the starting position for this stitch, as I've shown you. Insert the hook, yarn over and drop a loop on the hook. Purl stitch, so we need to do a simple stitch on the next stitch. simple stitch, I must crochet purl stitch. If you have any doubts, you can always know what stitch you are going to work by simply looking at your work. So here, for example, I see very clearly that I've crocheted a simple stitch in previous row below. So I know that I have to crochet a purl stitch on it. And this is what I do. Okay, this is if you lose track of what you're doing. Simple stitch, purl stitch. It happens to me all the time. And we'll finish with a simple stitch. And as always, we will finish the forward pass and work a neat closing stitch in that edge stitch. And we'll always do this regardless of how we crocheted this last stitch before the border stitch. Okay, and this is always in order to create a edges that are the same right and left of your work, and complete the row with a standard return pass. Okay, so as you see, the Tunisian honeycomb stitch is a staggered stitch. You will proceed now working the following rows, just like I've shown you, by working simple stitches on the purl stitches and purl stitches on simple stitches. And so it goes, and so you can proceed as long as you wish. And this is the result. You can see here in my pillow cover. By the way, I have written a pattern for this pillow cover. I will leave a link in the description below, and I will probably add a couple of pictures in my community section. One last thing I wanted to add is the honeycomb stitch looks very similar to another Tunisian stitch, the smock stitch. But they are different stitches, they are done in a different way. And I will show you the smock stitch in one of my next video tutorials. And this is it for today. I thank you for watching and for subscribing and for commenting. And I'll see you next time with my next Tunisian stitch. Bye bye.